In this video, I'm going to explain how you can create your own helper functions in Laravel. When we are installing fresh Laravel project, there are so many helper functions that are available to us that are provided by Laravel itself. So first, I'm going to discuss about some of the Laravel's helper functions to explain what are the helper functions, and then I'll explain how to create your own helper function. Let's start. I have opened this web.php file where we have to define our routes. In this web.php file, as of now, I have only one route and it is returning this hello world string. Let's run this. You can see we have this hello world string on the screen. Let me zoom in. Let me open a view file. In the resources folder, in the views folder, we have this welcome.blade.php file. Let me open this. We have very simple HTML structure here, and inside the body tag, we have this text welcome. Let's open the route file. And in order to use this welcome.blade.php file, we have to use view function. Let me delete this hello world string. In order to return the view, we have to use view helper function of Laravel. Let's use it. We have this view function. Here we are using view helper function of Laravel, and inside the view function, we have to use the name of the view file, which in this case is welcome. So let's run this file now. Refresh the page. Let me zoom in. Now we have this welcome text, which is inside welcome.blade.php. Let's check out this view function. As I am using PHP Storm, I can open this function by control and click on this function. Here we have this view function you can see on your screen, and a file is opened and the name of file is helpers.php. Let me hover the mouse over this file name and you can see the file location. This helpers.php file is already included in the Laravel framework, and here you can see the name of the function, that is view. Apart from view, there are so many helper functions defined in this file. You can see there are so many functions. Let's try some of the functions. Let me open this web.php file again. Let's remove this view. We have another helper function. Let's return now. I'm just returning this now function. Open the page and refresh the page. You can see now we have date and time string. It's the date right here on the left side of this T, and here we have the time. Again, this now is a helper function. Let me control click this. Again, we are on helpers.php file, and it is the function right here, which is now function. Whenever we are calling this now function, actually we are returning now method of this date class. Let me show you. Instead of this now function, let's write date class. From eliminate support facades, let's call this now method. Save the file, refresh the page. Again, the result is same. Here we have the date, and after this T letter, we have this time. In this case, now helper function is very useful because we don't need to write this class name and then implement this now method of that class. What we can do is simply write now. Let's try another helper function. We have this today helper function. Let's refresh the page. As you can see, we have today's date on the left side of this letter T, and we don't have time in this case. You can see. Let's open this today function. As you can see, it is returning date class. We can chain various methods of the date class as well. Let's try. Let's try this format method. Let's format the date. Refresh the page. As you can see on your screen, we have successfully formatted the date. So let's create our own helper function. In the app folder, let's create a folder. Let's name it helpers. And inside that helpers folder, let's create a file. You can name it anything. Let's call it helpers.php. You can see on your screen the first letter of helpers is small because we are not going to create any class. We are going to create a simple PHP file where we will define our functions. Let's create this PHP file. Let me open this file. Let's open the PHP tags. Let's create a function. Let's name it check speed. It will take a parameter. Let's call it speed. Let's create a very simple logic. If speed is greater than 100, then it will say fast, else it will say slow. You can see we have just created this helpers.php file inside this helpers folder, and we have defined this function. We can't directly use this function because it is not available. Now we have to include this helpers.php file in our composer.json file. Let's open composer.json file. Here in this file, you will find this autoload. Here we have to write files. Inside this array, we have to write the name of our file, which is helpers.php file, including its path. Let's write it. On the root, we have app folder, and within app folder, we have helpers folder, and within helpers folder, we have helpers.php file. Now all the functions that we have defined in this helpers.php file, they are available to us and we can use them in our project. Let's close this file. Let's open web.php file. So let's write our helper function. You can see our helper function is available in the code hint as well. Let's pass 80. Refresh the page. So we have an error. Let me zoom out. Call to undefined function check speed. Let's open the code editor. Let's open the command terminal. Here we have to run the command. We can either run composer dump autoload or we can run composer update. Let me run composer update. Composer update command will automatically update outdated packages as well. Let's refresh the page now. Let me zoom in. Now you can see our function is working successfully. Let's open the route and change the value. Let's write 150. Refresh the page. Now you can see our text is changed and now speed is fast. Let's open helpers.php file. Also, let me share an important thing with you. Let's cut this function. Let's write if statement. Make sure you are writing this function name inside this function exists. Let me explain you this code. If checkSpeed function doesn't exist, then create this function. We have to perform this check to avoid naming conflict with already existing helper functions. So in this way, you can create your own helper functions in Laravel. I hope you have learned a lot in this video. Subscribe my channel for more interesting videos. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.